A commenter has supplied some questions that are interesting and deep enough to warrant another video reply, because my answer just wouldn't fit in enough comments to be readable in YouTube's way of organizing comments. So here we go. If the new idea contradicts the established facts of the story, I think there's no question it is out. As far as it violating the theme or tone of the story, some kind of underlying truths, surely it's a matter of opinion. Who gets to decide? So this is a question from jrpipik. So what we're getting at in this is actually going in a different direction. Okay. Now, many game masters, including myself, like the ability to, for want of a better expression, fly by the seat of our pants. However, going into a game session with nothing in mind and just winging it based on what? Okay, and it's this what part that's important, right? We wing a session based on elements that have been accepted as true. So if you're running a game in an established game setting, then that source material and your modifications of it prior to play, that's true. This is a game world of your own design, that's true. And it won't change from session to session based on whim. The same goes for theme. All right. And who gets to decide? Well, who's contributing what? Right, is the question that I take you to. We have the players. The players are contributing their characters, and they're contributing their decisions, and they're contributing them to the shared game world, where the game master is an equal participant. Right. Now what the game master is contributing are the offstage events, the goals and motivations and actions of the NPCs, and the arbitration of the regular events of life. Now among these is the actual impetus to start the game. The group decides that they're going to play a certain game, and at a certain stage the game master has to start it. Right. They have the setting, they have these ideas for how the characters come together, everyone talks, they agree that yes, this is how the game is going to start. And in there is the kernel of an idea of where this might go. Right? Some sort of activity sparks action, sparks decision in the game world. Some games are sparked by the players at the outset. Many games aren't. And even when they are sparked by the players, the game master has some sort of idea of what it is they're trying to do, or they don't. So, we can counter any idea where there's a set theme of a way that the environment is going to be interpreted or simulated, or not. Right? So if you're the kind of game master who goes into a story and is not trying to make the portrayal of a theme a part of the experience, then any talk of shifting or altering that theme is irrelevant. So in my own example, what we were talking about was a play experience which was designed and agreed upon by all players, including the game master, myself, of a kind of high-adventure military action setting with exploration as a primary theme. Playing out in the Star League era, which is kind of a bright and noble area, which does have an underlying layer of darkness, but we had agreed among ourselves that this was not an element that we were going to explore. And so, if I take this idea that is really interesting, if I take that idea, I shift all of these agreed upon concepts into a different game. So we would move from something along the lines of Top Gun and moving it over into something more like the X-Files. I think the distinction between Top Gun and the X-Files is obvious. And doing that because right now, in the heat of the moment, that seems like a great idea. That is what I'm saying is a huge risk to take. Now, if these elements are not in your game, then there's nothing to worry about. If, however, you're the kind of game master that does include the development or exploration of theme as a part of the setting, then anything which can change or pervert that theme into something that it's not is worthy of consideration. In the same way that a character, the change of a character, needs to be understood and considered carefully by the player. I mean, if you have an altruistic character who, for no reason other than this might be fun now, chooses to become a selfish character, that choice irrevocably has an effect on how the game plays out. Same is true for theme from the game master's perspective. So taking that a step further, who gets to decide how a character develops in play? Ultimately, this should be the player. And so, if the game master is ultimately responsible for the theme or mood of the game, then who does get to decide? The choice is pretty obvious, I think.